The first third of the season is done and dusted, but there's a familiar theme. It's the STK Academy. They have swept the first 3 rounds of the seasons. As we get closer to ending the first half of this championship, the main question is, does anyone have anything for these Volkswagen Beetles of Jake Robertson and Sindre Silva? Hello, everyone. It's Josh Mertz back in the commentary box, as always, for the Automotive Sports Network, except for last week. Alongside me is Victor Vallee. And Victor, I have to ask you, I watched last week's race, but these two Volkswagens miles ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, and as I said in week 1, I thought this was going to be the biggest surprise of the season of the pace of the Volkswagens because, I think historically we've seen the Volkswagen struggle so much, but now we're seeing, Silva and basically the entire Apex Racing team just absolutely dominate week in and week out.
So red plate holder Sindre Silva by 6 points over his teammate Jake Robertson in the 22. Scoring issue tonight will list him as the 0-22, so just ignore that. Magnus Okenhaug third in points with 46 points. He's 15 behind Silva. Matt Hartley, defending champion in the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge, in the 4th spot, and Jacob Harberts in the top 5. The series and our broadcast here on the Automotive Sports Network brought to you by Simracer Coin. It's a cryptocurrency designed by Simracers for Simracers. You'll get all that information, simracercoin.org. Pretty awesome platform that they're building completely from scratch. And you as well could either have them on your broadcast, on your series, or even your race car. Check them out for sure. Got a Discord community, all of that fun stuff. As we look at our timing really super fast, I'm going to take a look and see how many entries we've got. I would say about 24, which is good. I know we were low a little bit last week, currently in seating Jake Robertson ahead of Alexi Heikkinen and Matt Hartley squeaking into 3rd there. Let's take a look at times. Jake Robertson 40.770, Heikkinen 41.312, so 0.6 up from Robertson to Heikkinen.
Yeah, and as we get down to the end of seating here, I think about everybody has finished their laps. So obviously not a lot of action on track at the moment, but say it's not going to be too long until we have heat number 1 coming up here on the Automotive Sports Network.
As our format for today's race, we do have a 1-hour practice. That's already in the books. It's a 5-minute qualifying session, 3 laps. Best of those laps get you seated for the heat races, which are 6 laps. You have to take the Joker once. The top 2 will transfer automatically. That puts us into 2 consolations, LCQ, C main, B main. I know I've said that a million times. Whatever term you want, really. Those races will be 5 laps, and only the winner transfers. You have to take the Joker once. And then the final, 10 laps, 10 cars, 2 Jokers. And I have to mention, I'm not sure if we have any cars going through the Joker or going past the Joker right now, but this track, one of the trickiest when it comes to a Joker entry.
Absolutely. As you see Philip Kraus dart by the entry right there, you can see it just a little bit. It's such a tricky entry, as I believe he's going to finally pull off here, but such a tricky entry here. You're basically diving onto the access road for the oval track from the front straightaway, as you can kind of see where the white line starts. You have to dab on the brakes, turn left hard, turn back to the right. It's almost like a quick chicane onto the access road and then off of the access road. And I believe tonight we can see a lot of drama coming out of that section right there.
As I believe you and I came together at that section of track a couple seasons ago, as I remember you decided to send me flipping into the final corner.
And as you can see there, Phil giving us a kind demonstration of a Joker lap there before seating finishes up here, and we get ready for heat number 1.
So real quick, Constructors Championship, Apex Racing 50 points ahead of LRL. Manufacturers Championship, Volkswagen a full race already ahead of Subaru. That shows you how dominant those cars are as we are beginning to grid for heat number 1 here in Indianapolis. So on pole position, Jake Robertson. What else is new? The British driver, super quick in car number 22. Alexi Heikkinen in the middle of row number 1, and the American Matt Kingsbury from Connecticut. Last season he won in Wild West. 4th on the grid is Daniel H. in car number 2, Travis Seymour, and Thomas Keene. Those 6 cars will be our first heat here in Indianapolis. We'll have to see Subaru versus Volkswagen through the oval corners. I think this is going to be pretty interesting to see who can get the bite through the corner. It's not as easy as it looks with these cars. They're not on slick tires, I don't believe. So it's very hard to get the corner right.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the hardest corners, I would say. I mean, this entire track is the most difficult rallycross track, in my opinion, on the service. As we get ready to go, as there is
green flag for Heat 1. Keene misses the start. Through the middle is Seymour. Outside of him is Kingsbury. 3 wide, Heikkinen, and Travis Seymour side by side with Heikkinen through the final corner. Seymour gets turned off the start by Kingsbury, and I was about to mention what could have been for the American. Robertson, Heikkinen, and Aish leads us into turn 1.
Into the infield portion of this track, into the dirtier section of this track, which has already been almost wiped clean of dirt, as we see Heikkinen trying to track down Robertson here for the win of the heat, but both of these guys right now in transferring positions.
Can't win the race on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it. Travis Seymour, unfortunately, is going to experience that through the hairpin, back onto the oval through 3 and 4 of the NASCAR circuit. And Jake Robertson, like I said, what else is new? He leads at the end of the first lap ahead of Heikkinen. You notice they took the jokers on the first opportunity. So did Aish, I believe. So those guys, their strategy is done. And now we'll see Thomas Keene. I'm taking a look at the back of the field here. And Keene will get a commitment line penalty. As I don't think we mentioned in our pre-show, you do have to stay underneath the yellow line, the white line, entering the joker.
Yeah, that white line, that's the most important line for the joker purposes there. If you don't commit soon enough, you will get a penalty for it.
As I was taking a look on my monitor, separate from the public feed, Kingsbury and Seymour made contact entering the infield, and that put Kingsbury back to 6, so the American still struggling. The gap from Robertson to Heikkinen just under a second here in Indianapolis, and 41.115 to a 919, 40.919, so 2/10 up was Robertson ahead of Heikkinen. These two comfortably in a transfer spot unless something goes wrong, but Daniel Aish lurking in the background for Motorless Motorsport.
Yeah, as we're going to go ahead and see if we can jump on board here with Heikkinen here in second place right now. Actually, I think I may have jumped on board the wrong car here. As we have, yeah, so this is actually the 8. As you can see, running in second place right now. So it's quite a ways back to Daniel Aish here in third place. So it looks like the 2 guys transferring right now is going to be the 2 Volkswagens in this heat event.
So over the jump, Robertson ahead of Heikkinen. Couple things to note, though, especially since we are the ones talking this evening. Heat races here aren't over until they're over, because I rolled Chris Wetz in the final corner on the final lap and still didn't win the heat race, and then you decided to pile drive me. Still, no hard feelings. It's 3 years ago. But anything really can happen. We saw Robertson spin from the lead, somehow hold the lead, and still win the race. It's Jake Robertson. What else is there? But he holds the lead ahead of Heikkinen, and I'm taking a look here, and it looks as though I do believe he got a reprimand last round, along with Savvy and Ragster. And Ray Kingsbury got a reprimand as well for those turn 1 shenanigans in Atlanta.
Yeah, I believe last week Robertson would spin across the line backwards in celebration of winning the heat. I guess the stewards did not take too kindly to that, and rightfully so. I mean, it technically does fall under crashing under caution, or crashing after the checkered or whatever, as we enter the final lap. Is Heikkinen trying to close in a little bit more on Robertson, but nothing doing right now.
So the Volkswagen 0.7 of a second up on Daniel Aish. What was interesting, Heikkinen was 0.02 up on Jake Robertson. Final corner for the British driver, and I believe he'll come off of this final corner, and he is going to win heat number 1 in Indianapolis on pole position yet again for a Simracer coin NASA RallyCross event, as Alexei Heikkinen transfers in car number 8 as best of the rest. Aish, Kingsbury, Keene, and Seymour.
Heikkinen
So that
definitely.
race
Yeah.
really was interesting and kind of settled by turn 1.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta say, Heikkinen definitely kept Robertson pretty honest there. It wasn't over until it was over at the end there. And actually, on the final lap, Heikkinen ran 0.6 faster than Robertson. So that could be something interesting to see if Robertson was just kind of just biding his time, possibly just, managing the gap the best he could. As we get ready here for heat number 2.
So no, you're not seeing double. Jake Robertson was registered previously under his main entry, and breaking the fourth wall, he registered under the wrong car. So that's what happened last season at Wild West. Stewards did not allow him to race. That was amended, so he raced in a second entry. So this heat race will only have 4 cars: Magnus Okenhaug, points leader Sindre Silva, Chad Mikas, and Cohen Attard. As we're also waiting, I believe, for Matt Hartley, defending champion.
I think right now it's Matt Hartley. Report to the grid if you can, please.
So it's 4 consecutive pole positions for the Apex Academy team. Actually 5, dating back to 2020A in Sonoma, that final race of the season. Robertson's streak only ended by his teammate, Sindre Silva. No Hartley in this heat race. Green flag, and Okenhaug leads Silva into the oval corner. Silva on the outside getting a better run on the Beetle. He has to check up mid-corner, I think, though, and Okenhaug pushes him into the wall nearly as he leads beginning the race.
Heading down into the infield section. We're on board with Silva right now. Getting really close, but we're going to stay on board because I believe this is going to be where Silva excels. Is going to be through the dirt here onto the jump. So we're going to go ahead and jump back to standard TV cameras. I'm not sure what happened to Hartley, but he definitely did miss the start. Only 4 cars taking the green flag in this heat.
This is terrible for his championship defense. Contact with looked like Attard and Mikas there. This is bad for his championship defense because, not saying that he was guaranteed a spot, we know as defending champion, he's kind of fast. So he could have taken the fight to Okenhaug, who leads at the end of the first lap and Joker's in the 26. So we'll have to see our defending champion in one of the LCQs a little bit later on.
But right now, it looks like Okenhaug and Silva holding on to those transfer spots. Attard trying to charge back here. I think he got into it earlier, as you mentioned, with Mikas, but I think getting by Mikas now and trying to track down your 2 leaders. So it's 2 Subarus and 1 Volkswagen to battle it out for the transfer positions.
We're beginning the 3rd lap of the race. The gap from the top 2, a second from Okenhaug to Silva. Silva has not jokered, I don't believe, in the 63. He was even on lap time with Okenhaug, and Okenhaug ran the Joker. So like we mentioned earlier, I mean, this Joker, very tricky, but it really doesn't give you a delta. Matt Hartley, connection issues in car number 1. He fell out of the server, and now he is back in the Subaru, but still, he might join a little late to get some track time, but that transfer spot out of the question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't believe he is on track, and he won't be on track, from what I can tell. Still sitting in the pits is that number 1 Subaru.
Cross flags for the Norwegian Magnus Okenhaug, runner-up in the championship last season. Arguably could have won that championship. What if he did not miss the final in Wild West? And Sindre Silva bearing down on him 0.2 of a second faster is the points leader over his fellow Norwegian. As Attard sneaking in 2.3 behind the race leader, and then Mikas, the American from Chicago, in his own race, struggling in car number 9. Silva's getting close.
Yeah,
this might get anything done.
This might come down to the Joker and seeing if Silva can get it done. So I'm not sure if he's taking his Joker or not yet.
do not believe he has, but I can double check on that one there. Let's take a look and see. Silva has not. So he's going to joker on the last lap. This is going to be crucial for Okenhaug to try and get a good run off of the hairpin down through 3 and 4 of the oval and down to turn 1, because if Sindre can get a good run off the corner, I think it's over. He's going to instantly have that inside line, and we shall see what happens. So close to the wall there is the 63 as they both run it wide in the hairpin.
Okenhaug gonna grow his legs a little bit here, get out to about a 0.8 of a second gap. Silva gonna go ahead and joker here, as we're gonna stay with
is the 63.
Yeah.
Does not get it done.
Yeah, not quite close enough. Okenhaug gonna hold on to this one, but Silva's still kind of harassing the 26 there, but falling back now.
And Sindre, I think, followed Magnus through the hairpin. Magnus ran it wide. It happens when you're a driver. You follow the guy that you're racing and you run it wide, because that's a good entry. That's what you have needed. That's what you would have needed, words are hard, to take the fight. But alas, Okenhaug wins Heat 2 in Indianapolis, transferring as your points leader, Sindre Silva. Remember, you get 3 points for winning, 2 for transferring, and already through 2 heat races in Indianapolis.
All right, heat number 3 here. Now this one's gonna be, I think, almost all Subarus, if I'm not mistaken. Except for Moss. I think Moss is the only non-Subaru entry into this heat, I believe.
Let's take a look and see.
Yeah, that's the only non-Subaru
Philip
entry.
Kraus, Marwan Moftah, Ray Kingsbury, Diane Feldman,
Actually,
Bodie
correction.
Cryer, Alex Moss, green flag. Four-time champion Kraus leads us off the line into oval turn 3. Kingsbury on the outside. Moftah, contact with Cryer. Out of turn 4 on the oval. I have to correct you. Moss is in a Subaru. Jokering is Kingsbury. Jokering is Moss. Cryer to the inside of Moftah into turn number 1. And Kingsbury into Philip Kraus in the 19. Around goes the 25. And Kraus still holds on.
And Moftah, the beneficiary out of that, now up to second place, hanging on with Cryer right behind him. Moss in 4th, and I do have to apologize. I thought that was a Ford Focus or a Volkswagen Bug for whatever reason. My eyes are getting to me tonight. But no, that is a WRX STI, and all Subaru. Heat number 3 here is Philip Kraus trying to get away from Moftah.
The end of the first lap. Second all-time on the wins list, 4 times a champion of the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge. Philip Kraus, jokering Marwan Moftah on the 191, 3-time race winner. Bodie Cryer, one of the newer drivers, trying to take the fight to the Egyptian, can't get it done. And Philip Kraus, supposed to only be running part-time, let me tell you that. But I think he ran last week. I think he ran in Daytona. So I don't know what's entirely happening. He told me he wasn't going to race at all. Into the wall is Moftah in the transfer spot. And Cryer runs it right into the hairpin, side by side. Nearly they do hit. And Moss through the middle, maybe thinking of it in the 194. It's getting spicy for the transfer.
Oh, they're going to be really close here. Moftah all over the road, but hangs on to it. He's going to try to get back to Cryer for that transfer position. But Cryer, right now, P2 in his second event here in the NASA RallyCross Series.
As Cryer has not jokered, Moss has jokered, so has Moftah. I think Moftah, we know the Egyptian's faster. Feldman has not jokered in the 84, so the Australian, maybe she can take the fight to these guys up front into the wall as she jumped. As I spoke too soon, commentators curse into Kingsbury. They are out of it.
And that's such a shame to see for both of those competitors. Because I know they've showed up to, I believe, all the races this year, both Kingsbury and Feldman.
So Cryer will joker in the 92 in the Subaru. Can Moftah take the fight to him? Cryer runs it a little bit wide, misses the apex in turn 1. Moftah, car length back. I think Cryer can feel the pressure. Moftah 3 times the race winner in the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge, and this is under a blanket as we come to 2 laps to go. You're not missing anything out front. Philip Kraus, the Canadian, out and away from the rest of the field, according to last lap, by 2.5 seconds. Cryer still holds the transfer in the 92. He runs it wide. So does Moftah. Moss to the inside. I'll eventually actually shut up so you can get a word in, but it's just so exciting here in Indianapolis.
I was gonna say, I don't even need to get a word in. You're saying everything, and the cameras are showing everything as well. This is just incredible racing right now.
2 laps to go in Indianapolis.
Oh, here it
Cryer
comes.
Over contact. And Cryer moves back to 5th now. Or sorry, yeah, 5th. Sorry, it is a battle. You're correcting me there. I knew my numbers were wrong. Can Moss take the fight to Mofton now for the transfer? He's going to have 1 lap to do it. He was actually faster than the Egyptian last lap. To the inside goes Moss in the 194. The surprise transfer spot in Norway 3 weeks ago. Mofton runs it wide, and Moss to the transfer spot. White flag for Philip Kraus. Again, you're not missing anything.
Oh, contact in the back. Mofton Cryer getting to it.
He bullied himself to the transfer spot ahead of Mofton. What a race with Mofton Cryer.
I don't think this thing's over just yet. I think Mofton might try to make a run at him here, but I think Moss is just trying to run away now.
It'll be very hard to get anything done in this final corner with that far back, but Moss runs it wide. Philip Kraus off of oval turn number 4. He wins heat number 3 in Indianapolis, and Alex Moss bullied his way through the field, and he will transfer in the heat number 3 ahead of Marwan Moftop, Bodie Cryer, Ray Kingsbury, and Diane Feldman. Victor, what did we just witness?
I'm lost for words just as much as you are here. That was incredible, honestly.
Feldman will come home in the 6th position. The Australian caught up in that accident with Ray Kingsbury. I hate to say it was not her fault, but she had some issues over the jump. It's nothing that experience. Words are so hard. I'm trying to say that I would do the same thing. I've done the same thing.
Yeah, I've done the same at this track in practice multiple times. It's not an easy jump to get right at all. It is one of the hardest jumps. As I said, I keep saying, going back to how hard this track is, but it is one of the hardest tracks that I've ever had to personally drive, and that's both on iRacing and back when this track was brought over to the NASCAR Racing 2003 simulation.
That's when you decided to yeet me in the final.
Yes, I used the bumper very what's the word I'm looking for? Very
well.
Yeah, very well. Yes.
McDonald, Ragster, Dipple, Rosales, Brokaw. Another 2 drivers will transfer through. Green flag in Indianapolis. Ragster gets a terrible start. Side by side, it's the teammates. Dipple and McDonald. Dipple high, wide, and handsome on the outside. Can he make the run off of his teammate off the final corner? Yes! And Dipple will lead at the line. His teammate McDonald jokers, Brokaw jokers. Rosales, Ragster, and Dipple do not. Contact nearly between the teammates. I spoke too soon. And Dipple goes from lead to 3rd.
All the way down here, coming into the right-hander onto the jump. And say Ragster getting absolutely harassed right now by Dipple for 2nd place. That's your transfer position. What a battle right now for 2nd place, as it looks like Rosales is going to try to get in the mix here now.
As Savian Ragster, one of the newest drivers in the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge, I did not know his name until the first round of the championship, and I have to say, I am very impressed. Daniel McDonald, the Scotsman for LRO Racing Team on a part-time basis, leads at the end of the first lap. Come to think of it, there's no Austin Derbyshire tonight. He is the 2nd full-time entry in that team. Ragster nearly hits McDonald. So it's the 2 part-time drivers along with Magnus.
Oh, they do hit.
Contact with Ragster and McDonald. And McDonald saves it.
What a save. So they're going to be side by side over the jump. Oh, almost contact there. I don't think
wheelbase. You can jump a little bit better there.
And I don't think McDonald was too happy with that contact with Ragster. Going to try to get the best of Ragster here. He's going to give him a bump. Into the wall goes McDonald. But still hanging on to 2nd place right now is McDonald, with Dipple trying to get in on the action.
Are these guys racing this frantic because we're live? I don't recall racing ever being this frantic on iRacing when I was driving. Side by side, McDonald and Ragster, as they both took the jokers on the last 2 laps. Jokering, I believe, was Dipple on that last lap. Yes, he did.
And here comes Dipple up the inside.
Jokered. on the first lap. Rosales has not. Dipple side by side with Ragster. Keep an eye on Rosales if he can get close. And Ragster back to the transfer.
Oh, almost contact, and I think there might be some coming into the hairpin. Oh, looks like the back end swung around to hit him a little bit.
Looked like a little net code there. All is well. You figure American versus British driver. There's a decent amount of latency there. All good. 2 car lengths from Ragster to Dipple. Cross flags in heat number 4, and it's getting ever so spicy for this transfer spot.
I say spicy isn't the word for it. This is just incredible racing right now. As Ragster's gonna go off and into the barrels.
I don't think that'll be a penalty as I take a look.
So nothing Dipple could do there. Ragster had already lost it, and just Dipple kind of just put him out of his misery, unfortunately.
And does Brokaw have anything for the 34?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Brokaw at all.
Ragster's furious, and contact with Rosales in the back of the shot there. And it kind of messes up the 58. We take 2 laps to go. We take 2 to go, and Brokaw was slower than Dipple that last lap.
Yeah, by about half a second there, as we're going to come to the white flag this time around. Not missing anything out front. McDonald still leads by about 2 seconds, now up to 2.5 seconds over his teammate John Dipple here in the 34 that we are currently watching.
As 40.546 was McDonald's last lap, 41.499 for Dipple. We'll take a look when they refresh here at the line. 40.956, 595 for Dipple, and Brokaw 42.6. So I hate to say it's over, but unless something catastrophically goes wrong, it's kind of over right now. And the LRL boys will transfer. Still half a lap left.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't even see Brokaw. He's not even in the same zip code right now as Dipple for second place, unfortunately. Would love to see this one go down to the end, but unfortunately it won't. Not every race is going to be a barn burner. But I mean, at the beginning of this race, it was a barn burner. Let me tell you that.
Not discrediting the LRL boys' performance, McDonald wins Heat 4 ahead of his teammate Dipple. But to be honest, there's so many zip codes in Indianapolis, it's fairly easy to be in a different zip code. I have to defend Brokaw there. He comes home in 3rd, Ragster in 4th, and Rosales, after they both crashed, will come home in the 5th position. And already, it's the C main in Indianapolis.
So I think we're still waiting on Rosales to cross the line here, and there we are. Now we're going to be gridding for OCQ number 1 here. So Moftov, the first to the grid tonight. So I believe we have 7 drivers in this LCQ. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So I don't know.
I believe it is.
So I don't think we've had anybody pack up and go home tonight. So I think it's gonna be all 7 drivers out there. Yep, all 7 drivers.
On pole position for the C main, Daniel H. Then it's Marwan Moftop, Matt Kingsbury, Bodie Cryer, Travis Seymour, Ray Kingsbury, Thomas Keene. 5 laps, 1 car transfers, green flag, Seymour through the middle, lightning start again, contact with Cryer and Moftop off the line. It's going to put Kingsbury and Keene to the inside of them. Seymour, high wide hands from the outside, but Matt Kingsbury has a run on Aish as we begin the race. Jokering is Aish, Kingsbury, and then around is Keene in the 12. Exiting the Joker, contact with Seymour, and Aish is around in the 2, along with Seymour.
Saying this is going to give, actually Keene is stuck in the Joker over there. So that's going to put him way down in the order. Remember, the only driver transferring out of the LCQ is the winner right now. That's either going to be Kingsbury, Moftop, or Ray Kingsbury, that is. So both Kingsbury in the mix here to transfer out.
So as we end the first lap of the C main in Indianapolis, Matt Kingsbury will lead over essentially his teammate, Marwan Moftop. 55 flat for Kingsbury, 56.3 for Marwan, and a 56.7 for Ray. He jokered, his brother and his teammate did not. Now remember, the Accademia del Ottimo Giro is the junior team for Last Lap Motorsports. Last Lap Academy in Italian, and hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. So they effectively have 8 cars when everyone shows up, so it's not a bad showing for these guys, but certainly one of the Kingsbury brothers would like to make it in and make fun of the other one for not making it in. I won't hear the end of that when we're playing Call of Duty later on.
Yeah,
Matt stretches his lead over Marwan. It is now 1.6 seconds. Marwan jokers, and Ray's going to pip his teammate, exiting the joker. No contest between them.
Yeah, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Matt Kingsbury has jokered. I'm not sure on that. So
Did, yes.
Yes, he did on the
According to
first
timing,
lap.
He did ahead of his brother. So now it's mano-a-mano between the Kingsbury brothers, and the trash talk that you could imagine is going on between these two drivers. Marwan's in third, Bodie Cryer in fourth, fifth is Aish, sixth is Keen, seventh is Seymour. Sorry, sixth is Seymour, seventh is Keen. As we take 2 to go in the LCQ.
Just trying to get an idea for how close it is between the two brothers right now. Right on that last lap, Ray Kingsbury ran a 40.701, and Matt Kingsbury ran a 41.228. The gap is 9/10 of a second, so all is up to play for here if Ray can continue to track that gap down, as it's now down to 6/10 of a second.
White flag in Indianapolis, and it's going to be a Last Lap Motorsports car in some capacity making it. Ray's going to dive really hard into the braking zone of turn 1, and he's going to get so much more momentum than his brother into turn 2, into turn 3. If he can hold this line, he can take the fight into the hairpin. Off of turn number 3, onto the dirt, over the jump. Ray looks to the inside on his brother. Will they go side by side? No, they won't. But you're going to have to know, is this going to be a Victor Vallee send into the hairpin to make it through to the final? Matt's going to run it wide. Ray tries to sneak to the inside, and I don't think it's over yet.
Yeah, here they come to the line. I think Matt's got it. I think you actually just jinxed Ray on that one. I think that's all Matt, and it is.
And Matt Kingsbury wins the C-Main ahead of his brother, as Ray will seed 11th in the final results, 13th for Moftov, 15th for Cryer, 17th for Aish, 19th for Seymour, and 21st for Thomas Keane. E-Main time in Indianapolis, and we have another cluster of cars, 8 of them trying to make it through for one spot. 7 of them for one spot. Cohen Attard, Tim Brokaw, Chad Mikas, Savin Ragster, Matt Hartley, Adam Rosales, and Diane Feldman. Remember, you'll see on timing, Jake Robertson, given that issue, he is in the race, just in a different entry. Another 5-lap race. This is going to be tricky. Will the defending champion miss the final? We'll have to see. Revving them up in Indianapolis for the B-Main for round 4. Green flag off the line. Mikas misses the start. Hartley tries to shoot the gap between him and Brokaw. Makes it work. Brokaw on the outside on the Ford. Hartley tries the inside. Nearly hits his teammate. And Brokaw leads off of corner 4 on the oval. 3 wide for second as Hartley jokers in car number 1. Can he get the spot on Brokaw? And turn 1 runs it wide into the 903.
No.
Uses him as a brake pedal. And Mikas gets shoved out of the way as well. And Tim Brokaw goes from hero to zero. Not of his own doing, in a matter of 2 seconds.
And you hate to see that for Chad Mikas. He has no luck, that man. I gotta say it. Every week, it seems like it's something else that's happening to Chad Mikas. It was a couple weeks ago, he missed the Daytona show by about 0.02 of a second, and now this week, gets caught up in somebody else's doing.
I have to tell you, though, was I surprised that Hartley would make that move? No. Is it because it's Hartley? No. Is it because he's defending champion? No. Is it because he missed on his heat race? Absolutely. You have a sense of desperation in the LCQ. You have to make it work, and it was clean. honestly, it was perfectly clean. He pulled the handbrake to avoid Brokaw, and they just tapped. I mean, it's a matter of right rear to left front, just by the slightest of contact. And Hartley, according to timing, has pulled out nearly to over a second over his teammate Commentators.
Yeah, looking at it right now, it's about 2.5 seconds is what I have on my side, and growing.
As we begin the halfway mark of the LCQ, the second LCQ in Indianapolis. If you're just joining us here in the Automotive Sports Network, Josh Mertz, Victor Vallee up in the commentary box here at Lucas Oil Raceway, round 4 of the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge in 2020B. We are just wrapping up to get our 10th seed of the event, and defending champion Matt Hartley out in front ahead of his teammate Daniel Aish. Rosales, Feldman, Mikus, Brokaw. The rest of the running order is Savvy and Ragster as well. I believe he had connection issues in the 91, so that's why he is back in 7th.
There, we can go ahead and go on board for a lap here with Matt Hartley, since we really don't have much action on the track. Josh, go ahead and tell us a little bit about IRP here in this Rallycross course.
So, we're going to start at an odd place, over the jump, and I'll get to the point of the sweeper. Very hard to get right, especially when the track is worn down. You want to make sure you don't slide it too far. Run your right sides on that grass to get the car to turn. Nail the apex on that curve, out to the wall, get as far as you can, and then start to bring it down. When you see the braking markers down off of turn number 4, white flag for Hartley, this will give us a good run. Start braking right when the line curves, right at the tire barrier if you can get it right. Push it way, way out wide to get the apex in. Hartley doesn't have to worry because he's got a gap over his teammate. And now to the Mickey Mouse turn 3. Third gear, second gear, I believe, in this Subaru, down to turn number 3. Get the power down very hard. You don't want to put the throttle too far to get wheel spin over the jump and back into the sweeper in Indianapolis. So hard to get it right. That's why I never won at this track.
So hard to get it right, and it's so quick as well. It's one thing after another. Before you know it, you're back around here, coming through oval turn 4 and coming back across the line for the checkered flag, as you see Matt Hartley go across the line to win LCQ number 2.
Will win the B main here in Indianapolis. Cohen-Attard will see 12th. 14th will be Rosales. 16th will be Chad Mikus. What could have been for the American? He will get 1 point. Brokaw, what could have been? He will finish in 18th. 20th will be Diane Feldman in car number 84. And 22nd, Savvy and Ragster.
Yeah, and Ragster, I believe, missed the start. Just got out there for the final lap, so that is a heartbreaker for Ragster. I know he had a lot of pace tonight.
As we have a couple minutes during warm-up here, we're going to go over a couple of the next couple of dates here in the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge. Next week, Wild West Motorsports Park. If I wasn't so dead set on being retired, I would say I'd race. I'm so torn. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? I really don't want to, though. Then we go to Sonoma, then we go to Phoenix. So we start to go out west for those 3 rounds. We come back east to Iowa, and then Daytona Beach for the run on the short course, and then it's a tentative race in Norway. There might be another dirt track coming to the service, a dirt road track in this next build. So keep posted, obviously, here on the Automotive Sports Network, and we will let you know. Otherwise, we'll have a second run in Norway. But we're all kind of skeptical on where we'll be. Points coming in to round number 4. This is before all of the heat race points, remember. Sindre Silva, 6 points ahead of his teammate Jake Robertson. Magnus Okenhav in third with 46. Hartley with 40, and Harberts with 38 points. Cohen-Attard, Philip Kraus, Ray Kingsbury, Aish, and interestingly, Jacob Rafos, who has only ran 1 race, and it was in Norway in his home race, is 10th in points. If I look through all of these cars, 27, 8, 9, about 30 cars have raced in 3 races here in NASA. Absolutely incredible numbers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't seen that many cars run NASA ever, so... And that's no offense to you, Josh. I mean, it's just the fact that this year's been more popular than the years before, and I'm absolutely here for it.
as Constructors Championship unofficially, remember, coming into the race in Indianapolis. Apex Racing Academy leads by 50 points over the LRL Racing Team. Last Lap Motorsports is a couple points behind, as well as Motorless Motorsport, Academia de Ultimo Giro, Digital Global Racing, and Black Horse Sim Racing. As Seymour and Sons e-racing as well. They were supposed to have 2 cars, and what happens with the Constructors Championship is at the beginning of the season, if you file more than 1 entry blank, you're instantly entered in the Constructors Championship, but Travis Seymour has his work cut out for him. Manufacturers Championship, speaking of work cut out for them, Ford, 14 points. Volkswagen, 92. Subaru, in the middle, with 69 points. Ford, if I remember correctly, came within 1 point of winning the Manufacturers Championship last season, and they couldn't, or it was the other way around. I can't entirely remember, but yes, they did not win. They lost by 1 point. So the mighty have fallen. They lose the Apex cars. The Apex cars go to Volkswagen, and here we are as they're leading the championship. Nations Cup, Norway, Great Britain, Australia, the top 3. What do you expect? I don't know what to expect. After seeing these heat races, the battles are going to be insane.
You know, one thing I can expect to see is that 022 car, or for this matter, it is technically the 22 car, being out front. I think the Apex cars do have this field's number once again, but it's going to take them getting through turn 1 cleanly here. And I shouldn't say turn 1, I should say oval turn 1 and 2 over by the Joker, because that's actually where the action's going to go down, is right there. It's not going to be anywhere else on the track. It's going to be right there. Of course, we may have some small little contact coming through here, which is oval 3 and 4, but I think all of that is going to be over here coming up into oval turn 1 and 2.
As we get closer and closer to round 4 of the 2020B Simracer Point NASA RallyCross Challenge season 21 of this championship. And I couldn't tell you, 8 years ago, I wouldn't have told you we would have had 28 cars for a couple rounds ago. I wouldn't tell you we'd have 20 cars here. We struggled to get 8 cars. And you don't offend me when you say that we didn't get many cars on the NASCAR Racing 2003 days. And something clicked where we ended up with over 20 cars every single race. Can't figure that one out. But we get closer and closer to beginning this race, and Robertson out and away from the rest of the field through warm-up. If we take a look at the laps, let me see if I can.
0.3 of a second faster on standard Queen laps. No jokers in this at all. Right now, Jake Robertson a 39.106, a 39.460 for Oleski. Heikkinen in second place. So, I think those are the 2 drivers to keep an eye on, the 22 and 8.
As we begin gridding here in Indianapolis for round number 4 in 2020B. On pole position, Jake Robertson in the 22. Second place, Magnus Okenhaug in the 26, and on the outside of row number 1, 4-time champion Philip Kraus. Daniel McDonald, Alexi Heikkinen, Sindre Silva, Alex Moss, Dipple. Those are your second place men through the heat races. Then Matt Kingsbury through the C main, and Matt Hartley, defending champion, through the B main. So we have a little bit of time before we get this rolling. Thanks to everyone who has joined us today on the Automotive Sports Network for round 4 of the 2020B season. We got 10 laps, 2 jokers, 10 cars, and anything can happen in the NASA RallyCross Challenge, and it usually does. We rev them up, getting ready for 10 laps in Indianapolis as we get ready to go green. Off the line, Robertson doesn't get a good start. Okenhaug gets a better run. McDonald on the inside, nearly on the inside of Kraus, battling sandwiched between the Apex cars. Points leader, Sindre Silva into McDonald, who ping-pongs into Hartley. Chokering on the first lap is Kraus. Robertson, it looked like Silva. High wide and hits from the outside is Hartley into Heikkinen. And then leading, exiting turn number 1 is Magnus Okenhaug ahead of Philip Kraus. And this is a sight that we haven't seen, Victor. It's the Apex cars out of position.
Well, here comes Jake Robertson right now in second place. Silva coming from 4th, and Heikkinen in 5th. Those are going to be the guys to watch here. we may actually have a Volkswagen podium sweep, but not if Okenhog and Kraus have anything to say with it, as I saw a little bit of contact back there between, I believe, yeah.
It's Moss and Dipple. Jokering is Okenhog on the second lap of the race. Robertson in the 22. Kraus in the 19, Sindre Silva in the 63, and then Alexei Aikinen in the 8. So the Black Horse Sim Racing car, along with the Apex Racing cars, those are the Volkswagens. The LRL Subaru, and then Philip Kraus in his own privateer Subaru. Remember, he's not driving for me. That team, MRT squad, closed up when I retired. As Okenhaug ran a little bit wide in the sweeper, also in the corner. Did Robertson corner cut? He did. He did in the 22.
Oh. And that's awful. As you just saw a little bit of great racing back there between Hartley, Moss, and McDonald, I believe that was, those three.
Wide with Dipple, Kingsbury, and Hartley. I know you're focused on the leader here. They're 3 wide as they exited the infield there, and defending champion Hartley prevailed.
So going back to the battle up front, they said nothing is for certain. Okenhog leads, Kraus second, but here comes Robertson. He's going to try to rebound from that corner cut. He actually got moved down to, I believe, third place off of that. And now here he comes to the inside of Philip Kraus.
Robertson to the inside, got by the 4-time champion, and Sindre Silva trying to
contact between the two.
Contact! And now, if you're Magnus Okenhaug, I say this because I raced against Jake Robertson, nowhere close on the pace to him, by the way. Magnus better hope and pray that he can get something right. Because that 15-year-old kid, if I aged him too young, I apologize, but he's a kid compared to me, stupid fast in that 22, and he's showing it through the dirt here.
Yeah, here he comes. He's looking to the inside on Okenhog here as we head into the sweeper here. He may make the move here into the hairpin.
Will he back up the corner? Okenhaug's going to run it wide. Robertson backed up the entry. Can't get it done. Kraus is getting close as well. The top 4 under a blanket. Really, you can put the top 5. Then McDonald, Moss. Hartley, keep an eye on the battle. Hartley has crashed in the sweeper. Defending champion back to 10th.
That's going to be awful for the championship. But as I think I just saw, I think Philip Kraus crashed in the Joker. He messed up the Joker pretty bad there. I saw that car absolutely out of shape. That's going to get Silva up to second place, or third place here, actually.
He did hit the tires. The 19 did a spectacular pirouette, and he really only lost 1 spot. Silva hits the wall there, battling for the lead as we become to cross flags, and this is a very exciting race. And Sindre Silva ahead of Philip Kraus, and I'm sure you know this because you raced against us. Philip Kraus, angry equals insane lap times.
Yeah,
so we'll see the Canadian out front.
I say, do not get Philip Kraus angry. First of all, he'll call you a numbskull, and then second of all, he'll run you hard, and he will be 10 times faster than what he normally is. So do not upset Philip Kraus, and I think that's what's just happened here. The beast has been awakened in Philip Kraus, and he is on a charge.
Battle for the lead. Robertson to the inside in the hairpin. Did he cut the track again? I don't think he did. Okenhaug got a better run because he ran a little bit wide, but they're both on the oval, side by side through oval turn 4, and Magnus prevails as we take 4 to go. Robertson has the Joker in the 22. What is this going to do for the rotation? Magnus is going to hold the line. He sweeps to the inside.
Oh, contact
move on Jake Robertson.
Contact
between them.
And around goes Okenhog.
Well after the race, I don't think.
Oh, and he's going to get hit hard.
Of course, we're not here to steward during the broadcast. That's not going to be fun for the 22. And Sindre Silva to the lead now in the 63.
So that's definitely, if it was back in the NR days, that would be a penalty box to the 22. I don't know if we still do penalty boxes or not. I think that'd be a reprimand and could be a penalty for the 22 after the event.
Side by side, Kraus and Robertson. And Sindre loves this. The points leader trying to skip away. And what could have been for these Subarus. And Magnus so close to victory again. And it's taken out from under him. Now I think it's a battle between the teammates. And unbelievably, I think they have finished 1-2 every single race this season.
I believe they have. I think there was one race with Rafos. I think Rafos may have been in between Silva and Robertson for that one. I'm not sure on that. I could be wrong on that, and Rafos could have finished third.
as Robertson and Daytona finished 10th after crashing. So other than that, they have finished 1-2 or 1-2-3 in every single race. But Kraus is keeping them honest as we take 2 laps to go, more so a lap and a half. And again, we might see some celebration on the road. We're not here to speculate, but of course we will correct ourselves next week in Wild West if anything changes. What could have been for Magnus? The inside of his teammate goes Robertson. These two aren't done either.
All I can say, if I'm Silva or Robertson here, don't wreck your teammate. That's the #1 rule. Do not wreck your teammate here. You have a 1-2, protect it and keep it honest as there's a little bit of contact.
Touches his teammate and Robertson to the lead.
And I think Silva saw that and said, you know what? I know he's a faster car. He may get a penalty. I'm just going to let him go here.
What could have been for Magnus Okenhaug, but we can't sit here and speculate. Otherwise, we'll go forever. Final corner for Jake Robertson in the 22. Tentatively, on the road, the British driver will make it 3 wins out of 4 races and 4 in a row for Apex Racing. He wins in Indianapolis ahead of his teammate Sindre Silva. Philip Kraus on the podium in the 19. Alexi Heikkinen in 4th. McDonald 5th. Okenhaug in 6th. 7th is Moss. 8th is Dipple. 9th will be Matt Kingsbury. And 10th, Matt Hartley in car number 1.
Yeah, and I think the biggest heartbreak besides Okenhaug was Heikkinen in that. He was actually caught up in the contact with Okenhaug there. Thankfully, I believe the NASA stewards have decided to turn off the damage for the series. I believe there was a couple glitches here and there with the iRacing service giving drivers damage when they definitely didn't deserve the damage. So that's why they did that. But I can say if it wasn't for that, I think Heikkinen could have been on the podium as well. And he still might be.
Let us take a look here. And we'll start out with our 3rd place driver, Philip Kraus. We're going to work backwards on the podium here. We're going to bring in our 3rd place driver, Philip Kraus. Tentatively, Phil, you survived the calamity, and you're on the podium. How'd that race go from your perspective?
I mean, I'd say it went pretty well, considering I actually saw the checkered flag on the lead lap this time. But definitely made a lot of mistakes throughout that. Just got lucky. Everyone else was kind of wrecking into each other, and ended up with 3rd at the end.
Victor, you got anything for 3rd?
Honestly, I'm straight up honestly just speechless at this point. I'm sorry. You just brought it home pretty cleanly. Do you think you might actually be able to get 2nd out of that? I mean, obviously you're right there for the contact between Robertson and Okenhaug. Do you think that might bring a reprimand to Robertson and move him to the back of the field?
I don't know. I wasn't around the corner when they made contact, so it's hard to judge it from my point of view. I'll have to see, though.
As Phil, I'm just going to leave you with this. You told me you were going to race full-time, or part-time, and then here you are kind of racing full-time. But good run, buddy. And maybe we'll see you next week, yeah?
What track's next week?
It is Wild West.
Maybe.
Good run, buddy.
Thank you.
And Victor will bring in Sindre Silva. It's Josh Mertz up in the commentary box. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Victor?
Sindre, I was going to say 2nd place tonight. You kept your nose clean the best you could out there. I mean, obviously, we saw your teammate get into it with Robertson. What was the strategy going into the race there? And at the end of the race as well, did you realize Robertson was faster than you, just let him go? Or did you just kind of realize at that point that it wasn't worth fighting for, or what was going through there at the end?
At the end, I miscalculated a little bit. I think I was a little bit nervous with having Jake behind me, and I didn't want us to do a mistake. So it was mixed. I think I braked a little bit early, and then Jake hit me, and yeah, I just said, okay, go pass, and we just let it be like that, and we just want to fight for the team championship. We don't care about that much of the driver, so who gets first. It's not like
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I think I actually said on the broadcast, Josh, you can probably back me up on this if I did. I said, don't wreck your teammate. That's all you got to do in this situation. And I definitely have to agree with that move. And then you started pretty far back in the field, if I'm not mistaken. Working your way through the field, working your way through to Carnage. Talk us through that first lap.
Yeah, it was messy. As you said, I started further back in the field. I had like 5 minutes practice or something. I just came like 30 minutes before the race started, and I hadn't got any practice to this for a long time, so it was not a good result before the future. But yeah, just try to keep it cool and just look where every car is. And I know it's a little bit hard with the fill, but yeah. We try to race hard and we try to race clean as well, so we will just see how the season ends.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out. And do you have anybody to thank for your second place result tonight?
Jake Robertson, Apex Racing Academy, John Robertson, everyone back in Apex Academy. They have supported us well throughout this season at NASA, so really thanks to them.
Well, thank you, man. I can't wait to see you next week.
See ya.
Our tentative race winner, Mr. Jake Robertson, car number 22. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty. Victor Vallee got some questions for you.
I absolutely do. I was going to say, solid start there for you, and then you kind of got boxed in behind Oakenhog there. Take us through the contact there. What happened between you guys?
So the start, I got quite a lot of wheel spin. It wasn't ideal, but I was kind of just sat behind him. I was trying to make him make a mistake. Then as soon as I got onto his tail, I wanted to joker to try and get underneath him. I saw he was wide, so I pulled the handbrake so he could get underneath me without any contact, because I know that's one of the biggest places for contact. Then I tried to get him on the underover, and I drove straight into the barrier, and that rebounded my car into his. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best racing on my part. I should have kind of been wary of the barrier, to be fair.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. And besides that, I mean, of course, you had a little bit of contact with your teammate on a final lap. And I know he was kind of talking us through that and said that, it's just kind of miscalculation on his part. And say, what's going through your head when you're right behind your teammate going for the win? Is it don't wreck your teammate, like I said on the broadcast, or is it something else going through your head at that point?
Yeah, it was. We were on the comms to each other. We were saying, okay, I'm gonna push for it, but I'm gonna try and make sure I don't wreck you. And then I think he kind of outbraked himself just a little bit through the corner, and I tried to go low and just clip the rear end of him, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, but I don't think he lost any positions because of that. Jake, do you have anybody to thank for your result today?
Yeah, Apex Racing Academy, SDK Gaming, and Simputers.
Well, thank you, Jake. Can't wait to see you next week, and hopefully, let's say once again, competing for another win.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the broadcast, guys.
Normally I have something to talk about, at the end of these shows, but I can't fathom what just happened. I don't even want to go back and look at it. It's crazy what we just witnessed here in Indianapolis. If I roughly estimate our points, I want to say I think Sindre is still going to hold the points lead. But of course, we'll see who has the red plate next week in Wild West. If we remember that round last season, one of the endurance rounds, no jokers, still the same format. That race is going to be absolutely exciting with those stupidly large jumps on the front straightaway. Victor, you got anything to close us out with?
I mean, honestly, you said it basically as best you can. That was just such an incredible race there, and there's really not much more I can say besides just wow, what a race, what an event, and as I said, I believe everybody really did their job pretty well here tonight, and on such a action-packed track like IRP, and I wish it was under the lights. I know we were talking about that last week. I said I wanted this race under lights, and if it wasn't, I'm gonna have to go after somebody. So I'm gonna have to find who put it in an overcast condition on a possibly Wednesday afternoon or whatever this is. But the virtual fans got a show, and I think that's all you can ask for.
As from all of us here in the Automotive Sports Network, Josh Mertz, Victor Vallee, Dylan Body, who was unable to join us, we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the Simracer Coin NASA RallyCross Challenge here in Indianapolis, conveniently presented by Simracer Coin. Remember, that's the cryptocurrency designed by Simracers for Simracers at simracercoin.org for all that information. Jake Robertson wins again. Apex Academy, another 1-2 finish. And just because it's like a Mercedes-style season doesn't mean that the season isn't exciting. But like I said, from all of us here at ASN, we hope you enjoyed today's coverage, and we'll see you next week in Nevada. But until then, so long, everyone.